the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Lattimore, will you take a roll call attendance, please?
Trustee Pelkey.
Here.
Trustee Menard.
Here.
Trustee Southwick.
Present.
Trustee Arno.
Present.
Mayor LaBounty.
Here. Nobody has signed up from the public to address the board, so we'll go to the minutes of the May 6, 2024 regular meeting. All the trustees should have that in their packet for their review. And if there's no changes or deletions from that, then I need somebody to approve the May 6, 2024 regular minute meetings as written.
I'll make a motion to approve the May 6 meeting minutes as printed.
Second.
All those in favor of accepting the May 6, 2024 regular meeting minutes as printed, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Bills, and anything new, Mr. Treasurer?
No changes tonight. No
No changes.
additions or deletions.
Okay, all the trustees should have a copy of the bills. If there's no discussions, then I need a motion to pay those bills as written.
I make a motion to pay the bills as written.
Second.
All those in favor of paying the bills as written, say aye. All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Correspondence, Mr. Lattimore?
I have no correspondence, thank you.
Okay. Under myself, I just want to quickly address some concerns, and I can see why the residents of this village would have some concerns. I announced at a meeting that we had been written up by the county, our water plant. Our water plant, as our residents may or may not know, is approximately 60 years old, and we're in the process of building a new one, and we've got grant money for that, but until that happens, our water plant will be at sometimes have problems, and this is what happened. But I can assure the residents that our water is tested every week by the county, and if it was undrinkable, I would have to inform, the administrator would have to inform all the residents of boiling the water as needed. That was not the case here. We've got a couple people in our village that trying to scare people. I'm just telling you right now, I have no hidden agenda. Why would I try to hide that from our residents? I have friends and relatives, and I took this job to make sure our residents were safe and had something to look forward to, and that's what I'm trying to do. So our water is safe to drink. There is no problem with our water whatsoever. And if anybody has any questions on that, they can call my office. They can schedule a meeting with me, we can go over any data you want, but I assure the residents that on a weekly basis, that our county checks our water. And I will not address this issue again. The second thing is, I've had a couple people ask me from the village about the agenda that I'm looking at today. The administrator sends about a week before the meeting to all the trustees and myself, and the trustees have the ability to come in and speak to the administrator about putting anything on the agenda that they want to speak about. I do not put anything under their name, or the administrator does not put anything under their name without the trustee contacting the administrator. Under my name, possibly there could be some resolutions and stuff, but under the trustee's name, they usually contact the administrator, and there's a particular subject to talk about. That's what they want to do, it's put on their agenda. So I just want to assure the residents that everybody has a right to speak about any topic they want, and they're being allowed to do so. The last thing I have is Resolution 2420, a budget modification. And if the treasurer don't mind, could you just give us a brief explanation of what's going on here?
May 31st is the end of the fiscal year, so this is to bring the books back into balance. That's what this is.
Okay.
You want me to read it?
No, I just wanted a brief explanation, so if anybody had any questions of what we're doing, this is just a business and a normal course of business, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Does anybody on this board have any questions on what the treasurer just said? If not, then, Mr. Latchmore, I need a roll call vote.
Well, we need somebody to, make
Oh,
a-
excuse me, I need somebody to make a motion to accept, a resolution 24-24.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 2024-14.
Second?
Roll call vote.
Trustee Pelkey,
Aye.
trustee Menard,
Aye.
trustee Southwick,
Aye.
trustee Arno. Aye. Mayor LaBounty.
Aye, the ayes have it, the resolution has been passed for the budget modification. That's all I have. Trustee Arnold.
Mr. Latimer, did you get a chance to talk to the railroad?
I did speak to the railroad after you and I had conversations, and I put in a ticket requesting them to take care of the limb and to remove the tree. So that was done.
Oh, okay. I'd like to have an executive session on legal matters.
Second?
All those in favor of going to executive session on legal matters, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The ayes have it, we'll go into executive session at the end of the meeting. Anything else?
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, trustee Menard.
All I have for tonight is I would just like to thank the Public Works and whoever else helped them to clean up the village and shred all the branches and leaves and everything else. They did a great job, the village looks good, so just thank you to everybody who helped. That's all I have.
Trustee Pelkey.
Yes, last meeting I brought up about, advertising for a seasonal laborer for the rec center here. And I'd like to make a motion to hire Joshua McGodrick for the season and starting June 1st, and what the union contract pays.
I'll second that.
Roll call vote, Mr. Latchmore.
Trustee Pelkey,
Aye.
trustee Menard,
Aye.
trustee Southwick,
Aye.
trustee Arno,
Aye.
Mayor LaBounty.
Aye, the ayes have it. Mr. McGodrick will be a seasonal laborer hired by the village, and will be paid at the union rate.
Hold on.
That position's not in the union, so it's 15.9, it is. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was part-time, I didn't think it was union. Yeah, it's part
Is there a question?
Nope.
No? Okay. Trustee Southwick.
I have.
Oh, excuse me, I apologize.
Sorry about that.
Trustee Pelkey.
Last meeting I brought up about, the incidents that happened at, with a couple of the fire trucks. Trustee Arno and myself, went to a meeting with the fire department, and, apparently we're gonna, relook at, driver's cards and to have issues, or to have, the chiefs sign off. The driver's cards that were presented have to be signed by the mayor and by the fire chief, and I think that's to acknowledge that these are members of the fire department, and then on the back, for each vehicle, you have to be signed off by an officer, a training officer. So, I talked to the assistant chief, and they told me that they were gonna take care of this. We had 3 incidents that were brought to our attention. I'd like to have those incidents documented, and we will relook at this problem we'll see what kind of a solution that comes up, and within 2 months, hopefully we'll have a solution.
Absolutely.
Do the board have any other questions? I mean,
No, as
Sounds
long as
like
it's
a
being
good-
addressed, you brought this to our attention, which we appreciate, and obviously, 3 incidents are a number too many, and we need to have, I think, an internal investigation by the fire department, and they make a determination, is that my understanding?
Yes.
Because if I was assigned these cards, just to let you know, I don't know what trucks you can drive and what equipment, so I would need either the Chief LeBlanc or the assistant chiefs to sign off on these people saying they can safely drive the following vehicles, and then I would have no problem with signing off on that.
the way I understood is these cards, the front of the cards is the member's name is on it,
Okay?
and you're acknowledging that they are a member of the fire department along with the chief.
Okay?
Then on the back of the card, every vehicle is back there, and as you take your driver's test, you get signed off on that vehicle by a training officer.
Perfect.
So, I mean, there's not a real big problem over there, there really isn't, because there's only so many drivers, and most people, 95% of the members know what they can drive and what they can't drive. Sometimes you get one or two that think that they can drive something that, that they can't, so they need to be signed off and trained, and if they can prove themselves, then they can drive.
Which makes sense.
Which makes sense. It's just, we're looking at this from an insurance, could be an insurance problem, it could be a liability, we wanna make sure that we're covered.
And the main thing, that whoever drives these is doing it safely, that's what we're
Right.
looking at.
And like I said, this would have never been brought up if there wasn't 3 incidents with the same driver brought to our attention, so.
And it was brought to my attention, and I don't think, based on what you told me, trustee Pelkey, nobody's picking on anybody.
Oh, no, no.
These were 3 incidents that should have been brought to the board's attention, and I believe at this point, what you're telling me, it's been addressed in the manner it should be addressed at, and I'm very appreciative of you doing that.
Okay. The last thing I have is I got some phone calls this weekend, of course, I'm sure the rest of the board did, from some concerned village residents about the ongoing fights and problems at the Anchorage. I mean, people are calling the trustees and the mayor, I'm sure you must have got phone calls.
Oh, yeah.
Something's gotta be done. I mean, I don't know if we can get our county legislators involved to find out if they can stop funding some of these programs or put them somewhere else, I don't know. But the administrator did tell me that the place is zoned that they can have residency there. I thought being a motel or a hotel, that it was just a 1-2 night or a week. It wasn't a permanent residence, but apparently it is. So, I mean, there's noise problems, there was fights, there's ambulance calls there constantly, I mean.
Police calls
Police calls constantly, I mean, there's gotta be something that we can do to address some of these problems. As of June 1st, we have a new code officer, maybe we can get him involved in looking at maybe some of the safety aspects, I don't know. Because every commercial building should be inspected every year. And if there's
Absolutely.
violations, well, then they can't live there. So, let him address it and let him do his job.
But I think the problem here is everybody's kicking that can down the road.
Right.
Nobody wants to do anything. When I've contacted somebody, and so is the administrator, the answer that we get from the area legislatures or people in the know is that these people have to go somewhere. Well, why do they have to come to Rouses Point? Well, that's a designated area, the Anchorage, and the owner has accepted to take these people. And at this point, our hands are tied. But you're absolutely right. The only ones that's out of our hands, it has to be Mr. Castine, who's our area legislature, and Mr. Henry, who's in charge of the area legislature, to do something to come up with a solution, because I am, like the rest of the board, I'm sick and tired of getting phone calls during the night or during the weekend of the same old nonsense going on, whether there's a fight, whether there's drug use, there's needles on the sidewalk, nobody's making up any stories. These are problems that exist in this facility, and we have to have a solution, and right now, I'm very frustrated. I'm sure the rest of the board is frustrated with the same thing, but we will continue to reach out to our area legislature to see if something can be done, but at this point, everybody's kicking that can down the road.
I just don't want the residents to think that it's falling on deaf ears. I mean, we try to do everything that we can, and, it's just.
Our hands are tied in a lot of this stuff.
And if somebody
It's like sometimes when abandoned property has 2 feet of grass, we used to be able to come in and cut the grass and take care of it. Our hands are tied. We cannot do this anymore. So as much as some of the residents might criticize me or the board, it's not because we're not trying to do something, It's because we can't do something.
We're limited on.
And we're very limited in our authority, and it's sad, but that's the facts of life. And that's all I have to say in that direction. And
I still think that, I mean, if we have to, there's gotta be something in the building code. I mean, like I said, it falls under commercial property. I believe every piece of commercial property should be inspected if it has to be, if that's what the
Absolutely.
rules are. And if there's violations, then we can go a different route.
Is it possible that you mentioned that the owner agreed to a program to allow this to happen? Is there possible that in that program, there's responsibilities on the owner to ensure, say, noise?
That's why
Safety.
that's why we need our legislators to address this, because they are the ones that are paying for these.
people to be moved from certain areas to certain designated places of residence. And unfortunately, in Ross's point, the former acreage property has a number of rooms that these people can stay, and I'm not trying to label everybody with one brush. Some of these people are not as bad as we think, but there are some people that, there's very questionable character, and this is where these problems are arising. So we will try to address it, continuously trying to address this problem. As a mayor and a board, we're not blind to this. We hear you, but we're trying to do something, but sometimes our hands are tied. Anything else, trustee Pelkey?
No, that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Southern.
Residents will have, a while ago, received in their mail a copy of the village service line inventory. The purpose of this is, as stated on it, to determine areas of the water distribution system that contain lead components, so that we can identify those and replace them. There's instructions right on this form of how you can, with a penny and a refrigerator magnet, determine what your service line is made of. If you're not comfortable making that determination yourself, or you're like me and you need probably more of an experienced eye to check your water lines, the contact information for our water supervisor, Mr. Gay, and our village administrator is listed on here, where you can make an appointment so a water operator can come and check it. This is not due until October, but October will be here before we know it, and so I think it'd be a good idea to just get it taken care of so we have the information and we can get any lead components in our service lines replaced. The only other thing I have to note is, while walking here, I did notice that the mirror at Montgomery and State has been installed. I believe this was installed last Friday. So residents can know that that's there, and it'll help provide visibility for people coming off of Montgomery, and they can see what's coming on their left. That's all I have.
Thank you. And just to further address what trustee Southwick said, as far as checking the pipes for lead pipes and stuff, Mr. Latchmore, you would know it better than anybody. We've assisted some of the elderly residents, some of the handicapped residents with doing this, taking a photo. Nobody should get stressed out over this. You call the office, speak to the administrator will get somebody from Public Works to come and help you. So nobody has to worry or stress out over this. We will extend all the help we can to any residents that needs that help. And this is mandatory by the state. This is not something the village board just woke up one morning and thought about doing. This is what the state has put on every municipality, and we're addressing this, and we will help anyone that needs help. That's all I have to say in that direction. The code officer is not here tonight, so we won't have his report. I have nothing else to say. Does anybody else have anything to say? Nobody from the public is gonna address it?
I do just have one thing to mention. Regarding the water plant and the details of what we received from the county, that is detailed in our minutes that we've approved this meeting, and the minutes go up online, so any resident that wants to know more of the details, they can check for the the May sixth meeting minutes. And as the mayor said, they can also reach out to the village office and ask for more details on that. If there's something about it maybe they don't understand, or there's more details they want.
Very good. And just one more note on the write-up we got for the water plant. As everybody should know by now, we've secured approximately $7.5 million in grant money. Because of this write-up, there's one silver lining. We are now eligible to bond whatever we need, approximately $3.5 million. We are eligible to bond at 0% interest. Doesn't mean we're gonna get it, but by having this major write-up, the silver lining is we can possibly bond whatever we gotta do at 0% interest, which would be a fantastic thing for the residents of this village. So that's just another thing I wanna point out to all the negative people who on Facebook who think they're gonna do something to bring this board down or me down. That's not gonna happen. I won't be intimidated, I won't be bullied by this nonsense. We are working for the residents and what's in the best interest of this residents at all time. I have no hidden agenda. My only agenda here is to make sure that my friends and relatives and every resident has something they can live and be proud of, and we can look forward to the future of our kids and our grandkids. And that's all I have to say in that regard. Anyone else have anything they want to say? If not, then I make a motion that we adjourn and go into executive session.
Second.
All those that want to go into executive session and adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. We will now adjourn.